and welcome to a Sacred Symbols reading. I'm your host, Desiree Mars, and the date is Sunday, February 12th, 2023. And I know many people celebrate Valentine's Day in many different ways. One thing I just want to say about that is, I know it's in a couple days, and what I do know is that astrologically, just FYI, maybe be aware of that actually the 14th is not a great energetic backdrop for the aspects of love, compassion. It's an agitated energy, in my understanding, on the 14th, if you don't really follow holidays. What you might want to tune into is the fact that the 15th is actually an incredibly high energy day for love, compassion, deep levels of heart space, and deeper or more expanded states of awareness about and around love on the 15th. So if you don't necessarily go follow linear time of holidays and that, you might want to celebrate something for yourself or others that you know and love on the 15th. So I'm going to hold that in this frequency, the intention that we are tuning into that beautiful frequency that will be happening on the 15th in celebration of Valentine's Day, or the idea of love. And I'll just be holding the intention of a little bit of an underscore of love, compassion, a more expanded state of love. What might we learn and understand about love? What do the bones have to say to us, or our ancestors have to say to us about these ideas and concepts that we have about love here as a human? And maybe, take a look at the bigger picture, the collective aspect of love and how it is unfolding on a more universal or ancestral level. How might we understand this idea of love within our ancestral lineage? So I'll throw that in the mix on my end. And of course, at any given time, I invite each and every one of you watching that this is what you're holding, whatever that means to you, however it resonates for you, that this reading give you some insight this coming week about love in some way, shape, or form, on some aspect or level of ancestral healing, ancestral lineage, and then of course any nuances that just is you. And of course we know that this happens just on a frequency level. You don't even have to necessarily think about it logistically, but you're just holding in your heart this intention to receive guidance, wisdom, insight about whatever that means for you this week of love. And imagine now, if you will, a brilliant white light coming down from the heavens and anchoring you all the way down to the center of the earth. Just feel the beauty and strength and power of your imagination guiding the energy of light. We know we're traveling through the photon belt right now. This is something we've never experienced as humans in this greater cycle of our constellations flowing through the photon belt. But we are receiving, some of us are very aware that we're getting downloads, information, insights, understandings about this evolution that we're feeling, an evolutionary process of becoming a brighter, a more brilliant, a diamond-like quality of light, a crystalline light. We're becoming more aware of our light bodies. And just feel that essence of light flowing all the way down through your central channel around you, and that your awareness is now anchoring you, stabilizing you to be in alignment, to be connected to the core of the earth. That you two are a human here on earth, and tuning into Gaia, Pachamama, the Great Mother, the Divine Feminine, at the very core essence of her soul, of her being, of this process that she is moving through simultaneously as we do so ourselves. And when you feel that connection, that anchor, just allow the energy to naturally flow back up. And as it flows back up, it activates your base chakra, the color red, and then all of your chakras can open, become fully functioning, balanced and aligned, front and back. So you feel this multi-dimensionality of your power centers. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and white spilling out over the top of your head, activating your toroidal field. And then simultaneously feel the heart center opening and activating its own toroidal field, and now aligning with the brain or the mind. The heart and mind now expanding, allowing your awareness to tap into the holographic being that you are, and feeling the coherence of the two. So from this coherent state, feel the expansion, deepen even further, and then take a moment as you tune into your breath on an even deeper level. Take a couple of breaths in through the nose, hold, and then exhale through the mouth. Inhaling, holding, and exhaling through the mouth. So you can just relax the jaw, the neck, the head, the shoulders, and tune in on another level, another frequency of emotions of these sacred power centers or chakras. So just imagine joy, peace and strength, courage at the heart, gratitude, humility, and divine love. And feel that essence now of a rainbow light that has infused that white light, and you're sparkling with all the colors of the rainbow, expanding outward, tapping into that rainbow essence of your ancestral lineage. I remember, I'll share this story just briefly, that I remember my initiation into reading the bones. I didn't understand it completely, but I had an image, an experience, a direct experience of seeing my ancestors as light and seeing them flow through this toroid. And I really didn't understand it at first. I was like, what is happening? And as I studied mediumship, I actually began to put the pieces together, that when we are tapping into our ancestors or to those who have crossed the veil and are now here on the other side, they're not remembering us as our name, as an identification of a person, but the remembering is coming through a frequency, a color, the essence. That's how they are recognizing us, through this frequency of color. And I was seeing my entire lineage flowing through this central channel and then moving through the toroidal field together. And it just brought tears to my eyes. I started weeping. I didn't really know why, but it was, now I understand that it was just the enormity or the expansiveness, the understanding of a direct knowing of why I used to see my ancestors not as necessarily their names and their physicality, but as their energy essence, right? The energetics, the frequency. So see if you can tap into that essence of this rainbow light that you are as a soul, because where we are headed with this work is to have more or deeper awareness of our soul, remembering who we truly are as a soul. And as you do that, just imagine that this toroidal field that flows and spills out over the top, back down, and cycles through all the cycles, great and small, that you are remembering, in essence, something so much greater, the Akash, the all that is, the superconscious field of awareness of who you truly are, a star being. You're a part of a star nation. Many Native Americans knew that we were stars, and that we know now that we are stars. We are essences. We have the essence of other aspects of stars, asteroids, meteors that hit the planet and then brought into the planet Earth this spark of life, this vitality. So feel this vitality flowing up through the top of your head, spilling out now, this rainbow light. And one last aspect of imagination, I invite you to feel a beautiful golden light flowing down like a river, a thread, a stream of energy, of golden light that supports you in understanding how you also are connected to this web of light, or a web of life. This golden grid, the Aka field, as the Hawaiians call it, the Aka field. Just allow that to permeate your awareness, your knowing that you are tapping into the Aka field through this golden grid that connects us all. Everything is connected. Everything is influencing the other or mirroring each other. Just allow that to be in your field of awareness. And so as you just sit with that and feel that sense of grounding, you also then feel this expansion into the field of all that is, the great mystery. And with that knowing, let's create a sacred circle now that we will use through us, through our ancestors. And we call in all of the directions, the east, the south, the west, the north, above, below, and the middle. All of the elementals, earth, air, fire, water, ether, plasma, neutrinos, gammas, and all those elements yet unknown to man. Come and be with us. Come and be with us. Weave your magic, weave your brilliance, weave your knowing, understanding, and wisdom into this field that we're creating here of a sacred circle, so that we can sit beside all of our guides, angels, and teachers, our seen and unseen, the magical and the mystical, the two-legged, the four-legged, the many-legged, the winged ones, the finned ones, and the creepy crawlers. Come and be with us. Come and be with us. Create this sacred circle with our divine intention to explore our understanding about love, or the idea of love, and what that means on as many dimensions as we can possibly take in at this time. Come and be with us. All of our ancestors, those who've gone before us, lived a good life and transcended, the well ancestors. We're calling them in to sit beside us in this sacred circle of knowing, of exchanging information. And to all those whose names we do not know, but whose blood runs through our veins, we thank you. We sit in the sacred circle with gratitude and appreciation for all that has been experienced, good, bad, indifferent, For all of it has brought us to this moment in time, the here and now. And then we're taking with us this higher level of consciousness, or higher level of conscious awareness of the ancestors who have evolved and are now here working on our behalf. Come and be with us. Connect with us through the heart, through this essence and understanding that we have as humans about the idea or the essence of love. And that may all that is gained here today, all the beauty and understanding that we reap about love, may it not only support us, guide us, benefit us, but may it benefit all those we come in contact with simply by our being in their presence. That we may understand that at even greater levels of the power of our being, not the doing, but the being that we are and who we truly are here as a soul. So with that said, I invite you to just again tap into the intention that you have for the reading today. May it guide your week with brilliance and light. And allow the sound of the rattles to activate an even deeper level of alpha or theta, so that you may align on this frequency level. In full faith, so be it. Aho. So now, my friends, I'm going to invite you to blow into the basket 3 times with your intention, as I do so too. That some form of wisdom with the breath flows into these pieces and then comes through my voice, comes through my conscious awareness, so that you might hear it. You might receive some aspect or understanding of these sacred symbols. So now bear with me. I'm going to share my screen. So to dive right in, I want to say this is fascinating. We have the great mystery at dead center of the reading with the shaman right on top. DNA, grandmother, your paternal grandmother, grandmother on your father's side, and the collective. We have quite a collection here. Look at this. It's very dense, right? So there's a lot going on with your definitely grandmother on your father's side, your paternal grandmother. We've got also grandfather, so very interesting. And then the great ones on your mother's side, your maternal great ones, greats, greats, as far back as you want to say great. So that's fascinating. And then, as many of you know that have been following the readings, this is really fascinating. Now, this might be flipped or in reverse. If you can reverse it on your screen if you need to. This would be the piece that's closest to me, and it is the inquiry. So fascinating that there's not a lot going on the outer ring here other than the inquiry. So whatever you held in your intention about love or around love or wanted to get clarification about, just note that it's something much greater. Let me point that out again before I move. And notice that it's facing outward, away from the circle, the furthest piece away from the center. Okay, so just digest that. So I just want to reiterate that whatever I'm saying and seeing, just know there is an aspect of it that is, open and free for your interpretation, whatever resonates with you, your gut, your heart. This is not like I'm giving you the answer or the end all. It's really these readings on YouTube, since they're very general, just a reminder that they are about, supporting you with insight, guidance, and wisdom in a sense of a collective reflection. Let's call it that. And so it's just fascinating that there's a lot going on here. It's all about a transfiguration and a fork in the road. So if you're feeling that in your life, you are right on. I think many of us are, and those of us, even if we think we're just moving along as planned, fasten your seatbelts, or you might want to take note and expand what you're seeing or understanding into a much larger picture, because there is something here. This transfiguration is right dead center and fork in the road, and then it's pointing directly on one side, one aspect of the road. It's saying, this is really, notice what's going on about your work, your greater work in the world, and or your work. Is your work in your day-to-day in this lifetime in alignment with your soul's work? And if not, how can you do that? It's pretty wide open around it, other than if we look on, either side of this fork, actually. And then on this side of the fork is where we enter in through your grandfather on your maternal side, your father's father. Notice what's going on in this paternal, your father's father, paternal grandfather. Just take note, there's something about reflection there. Just sit with that, sit with this person, sit with the energy of this person, even if you never knew them, but they have influenced your life simply by your coming through this ancestral lineage. And there's something about reconnecting to the heart. This is the drum, the drum beat, the greater picture, and the Pachamama here energy. And this is fascinating. We've got both grandfathers. Grandfather on your mother's side, mother's father, maternal grandfather, and paternal grandfather. And the message in this mother, the grandfather on your mother's side, is really saying, the message is about innocence, staying in your innocence. And the paternal side, your father's grandfather, or your father's father, your grandfather on your father's side, it's about, talking stick, about, allowing this wisdom, allowing the voice of grandfather on your father's side to come through. Invite, this is where I think the shifting and what we're saying about the great mystery, and that too, is that rather than thinking we're always controlling something by either asking questions or imposing our thoughts on what we think is highest and best, if we're actually getting out of the way and asking, speaking from a heart-centered place and saying, grandfather, what divine wisdom do you have to bring to me today? So both grandfathers, what do the grandfathers have to bring to you in a heart-centered way? Because there's a lot going on. It's just, I can't even begin in this reading to go through all that's here. Just layers. There's many layers. And then the great ones are here, of course. The great ones on the maternal side. Great, 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 great. So as far back as you can imagine, they are here, right? Or you can tap into them. In fact, just know there's Neptune, and then it's also flagged by, this looks like Mercury, and who is underneath here? It looks like, maybe sure, it's not the moon, Venus, right? Yes, Venus, because this is the moon. So Venus and Mercury. So truth, love, and beauty, what does that mean to you? And what are you wanting to communicate? Or what kind of communications are wanting to come in through Star Nation, through community, through this endless cycle, the cycles, the circle of life? There's something there's something wanting to be communicated. And before I start taking this apart, I'll just focus in on this piece because it seems so directly connected, is it's about your vision. And that is your father, your father. It's touching your father, that which is not yet created, you, this larger shell, this greater spiritual evolutionary process that you're on, and the idea of Uranus, which is exactly what we're all being influenced by right now. Uranus, this kind of sudden burst, sudden downloads, electrical vibration. Just notice what comes in bursts, and then ground yourself in order to receive this information. So here's the message. You must be grounded to gain access to these greater knowings, these greater forms of information. So as we move through here, going clockwise, back to what I said, here's a make a wish, or, the wish around the home, the collective. Take time for reflection, stay in your innocence. And there's medicine to be had through Jaguar, through this idea of also what is kind of hidden, what is not seen completely, what is not totally unveiled. And just know there's an essence of time. This is a powerful time. Everything is being magnified. This is Jupiter touching the divine feminine. And then this is fascinating. We have a 4 and a 2, it equals 6, or we could say there's structure and there's a co-creation happening here on a physical level. The 2. Maybe there is somebody, notice, what in your life, or who are you co-creating with? Because that is bringing abundance into your life by tapping into the emotional aspects of these energies that I'm speaking of. And mainly, I would say, here's the blueprint, here's your blueprint, and this is all about the heart, right? And the heart informing the third eye. So that's interesting. The heart. Let the heart inform the way you see things, the context in which you hold something, right? And here's grandmother on your mother's side, your mother's mother, a young one on your father's side. So there's an influence here about the heart, staying true to your heart, speaking your own truth, creating ceremony. Let your life be a ceremony. What if every breath was a ceremony to celebrate this vital life force that comes into you and moves through you? And then here's your mother with the emotions, like her feet, Piscean type of experience, right? And then ultimately, it's saying these emotions are all about a soul remembering or a soul retrieval, retrieving lost parts. Notice on your mother's lineage what parts you want to weave back in to your awareness. And then we have the ancient ones on both maternal and paternal sides. Both, this is the masculine, that's your paternal, here's your maternal, ancient ones that were the men, the ancient masculine, right? The ancient masculine. It's time to receive from the ancient ones. See if you can tap into what is that like to receive information from the ancient ones. Because I think when you take time to have introspection right now, you will sense, you will feel, you will know, possibly all in one burst of knowing that there's something here that the heart is informing your insight with, your inner sight, your greater sight, a much greater perspective of who you are, right? And what you're doing here on the planet at this time. And it's a great time for pause. Here's my timekeepers, and they are both facing down saying, the power is in the pause. The power is in that moment of reflection or transition from inhaling and exhaling, right? The power is in the pause. And know that this is creating an opportunity for a sense of rebirth for you, like seeing things with fresh eyes, especially aspects or mm, um, ideas, influences that involve your home. This is about your home. So bringing power back maybe into your home or the center of you. That home is actually within you, right? That idea. That might be what you're needing to digest, that concept of. And just know that on this evolutionary process, you have the ancient ones, the women on your mother's side, your maternal ancient ones. And, this is bringing in an awareness around this Pluto return that we've been in, which I believe will be shifting. The closer we get to being more in the Aquarian energy versus the Capricornian energy. But just know these incredible influences of the sun right now upon us is really shining a light, is really bringing to our awareness, because this is you, me, or us, again, being hit by or being the opportunity to tap into our star nation, something much greater. Healing the father. What is this new vision of the masculine? Reweaving with the feminine. We're both. We're masculine and feminine. It's not about fixing one or the other, but it's about integrating and having those aspects of us informed by the other. Because that is what divine perfection is about, is that balance, right? Balance in the, oh, I'm sorry, this third eye. So this is the third eye. I said third eye here, but I meant crown. So it's like heart and crown. Alignment of the heart and crown. That's what's going on in the blueprint. And that is saying, as these downloads come in through the crown, filter it through the heart. Check in with your heart and notice how that resonates with you about what your understanding is about your blueprint, your coding, so to speak, that you came in with, whether it's astrological or however you want to follow that. Some people it's Ayurvedically, however that resonates for you. So know that in that third eye field, we've got a lot of energy. I know Mars recently went direct, so you might feel that sense of moving forward. And the moving forward is really about how you are in the world on a level of your passion. Wow, and I have never seen this before. Here is the lock and the key. The key right on top of the lock, and what's on top of that is the planet Earth. This idea of we as humans, the lock and the key. Maybe it's saying it's inseparable, right? What is inside of us and maybe seems out of our reach, unclear, not yet accessible, is totally accessible by tapping into that human aspect of us that wants to move forward, wants to evolve. And here we go. I mean, here is horse. It's like a confirmation of that. Diving deep into the structures. What are the old structures that no longer serve us? What aspects of the father, right, maybe no longer serve us? What messages did we receive from our father and are ready for healing in this ancestral lineage work that many of us are doing? And really look, really use your eyesight, your inner eye. Look at the frequency, what I was saying about the toroidal field. Notice it on an energy level. I mean, I have at the top of my YouTube page, it's not so much that the reading that I selected was maybe the best download or expression that I had about frequency, but what was beautiful is that recording on Valentine's Day. Oh, wow. Okay, now I'm getting chills. It was last year, I guess, last year or the year before. My father's birthday is on Valentine's Day, and I won't go into the long story, but my father, I know that was something he didn't get about me, like the woo-woo part of me, which is really common. I get it. I understood that. But then when he crossed over and I started to do some work in the realm of mediumship, I had a knowing, an understanding that we had a communication actually that he came through and he said, Desiree, I totally get now what you were talking about with frequency. Now that he was on the other side, that was his message to me. And he actually kept asking, the person doing a mediumship reading for me was saying, he keeps saying he wants a playlist. There's something about a playlist, and it totally connected with this idea of I used to make playlists with frequencies for people through a device that I had. And I made some for my dad at one time. I don't think I told him about it because I figured he wouldn't get it. But he, on the other side, finally said, I totally get it. And as I was talking about him, and maybe I might have been sharing something, I'll have to go back and look at that. But it was, the reading was dedicated to my dad. So I'm going to say this too is dedicated to my dad. With Valentine's Day coming up, which is his birthday, his name was George Valentine. And George Valentine, he showed up in this incredible portal that opened up, this light beam that came in and never has happened since, but opened up this ring or circle of color. Almost, which it reminded me of the way when I had my initiation into reading the bones, was how I saw the toroidal field, how I saw souls coming in, right, and receiving healing. I mean, it was like a celebration, a ceremony that I had decided to make a part of my life's work, ancestral healing, or at least, this understanding of ancestral healing on a greater level, right? So just take all of that in and notice how that might relate to you in some way through your third eye, right? Sorry about the confusion there, but so here we go, grandfather, grandfather on your father's side. Father is here saying, what is your vision, right? What is your vision? Not the vision he had for you. I know that was a big piece of mine. This is you, me, us, and the message here, the medicine is about calling in. This is rattle, calling in and calling in to you, magnetizing to you what you feel passionate about your passion. And that's what this transfiguration is about. You embodying the passion that you want to feel, see, do, have in your life. And just know it's happening on a genetic level through your DNA, grandmother on your father's side, a rebalancing of the mind, and make a wish, right? Just from your heart. This create sacred space, or just acknowledge that everything is sacred, even the thoughts that you have, right? The power of the word, the power of thoughts. And know you are blessed. This home within you, the home that you live in, this home, the planet Earth, just know it's all part of a greater plan, and it's unfolding in its perfection. And that you are the medicine that you are seeking, right? You are the medicine you are seeking. You are the shaman within, or seek out a shaman. And just knowing that there's a part of it, an aspect of it, right at the heart of it, the center of it, is that some of it is just a great mystery, because it's an evolutionary process that we're all on for lifetimes. You're not going to get every answer to everything in one lifetime, unless you are lucky enough somehow to evolve into a force greater, so much greater than the self this time around. And maybe that is, for some of you, your evolutionary process, to experience the greater forces, so that you don't possibly come back in another lifetime. And you're doing some of this is what you're doing. You're observing this and getting bits and pieces of information that will help you evolve into a place in your process that is not only healing the past, it's healing the present and the future. And it is allowing you to accept that there is a mystery so much greater than you can even imagine in your waking, breathing, day-to-day moments. And maybe you get an inkling of that. Maybe on the other side, that is what you return to, and you will be working to support others as a guide from somewhere across the veil as you become an ancestor. And then as that ancestry in your line expands into the future in a whole new realm, a whole new way of being, a whole new way of being. So with that said, I am going to stop sharing my screen and I'll come back to, I'm going to turn this light off. So thank you for joining me today. I hope the editing goes smoothly so that I can kind of bypass the technical wonkiness that happened when I tried to share my screen the first time. But apparently something's going on in the bigger picture, because I know right now I'm supposed to be on a master class working with a mentor of mine around water and communications to, from, and with water. And she is in New Zealand, and right now they're having thank goodness, it's not a direct hit, but it's the aftermath of, or the kind of downgrading of a cyclone. So I know that Wi-Fi is out in most of the north part of the island, and I believe that's where she is. She's in the Auckland, New Zealand area, and she did warn us that she may not have Wi-Fi, because this was a big event. It was going to be 7-8 hours of of teaching, and so I guess now it'll just be rescheduled. Obviously, water had a message here, water. So take that into, maybe there's something, notice what it is. We're having rain today and supposed to have some severe weather and storm coming in this evening. Right now it seems a lot less than it was, that it was predicted to be, but just take that in, however it lands for you, and then bring your awareness back to that sense of grounding, right? That we're just coming back into grounding. We're giving thanks, gratitude, and appreciation for this information that came through in the reading today. And I thank you all for joining me in full faith, so be it. Thanks for joining me, everyone.